Jane Fairmont Bell sat alone in the keeper's lodge she'd once shared with her husband. There she began her solitary breakfast, delivered by a maid from the coaching inn across the drive. Her inn. She still struggled to credit it. Jane ate in dainty politeness, as though at a formal dinner, or as though her old eagle-eyed governess sat beside her. In reality, she'd eaten alone for a year now. The clink of china and cutlery seemed louder than usual, the courtyard outside strangely quiet for that time of day. At the thought, she glanced at the nearest window, framed by ivy. The leafy vines had grown unchecked and narrowed the visible glass. She could cut it back, but she liked the privacy it afforded. And how it blocked her view of the often chaotic coaching inn. Jane rose and walked into the bedchamber. The view from its window was more peaceful. There, an ivied oak tree and stone wall. And in the distance, if she looked for it, the tall brick chimney stacks of Brockwell Court. The elegant manor might once have been her home, if life had turned out differently. Beyond it lay a patchwork of farms, pasture land, chalk downs, and small villages. A soft knock interrupted her thoughts. Returning to the sitting-room, Jane called, "Come." Cady, the young maid who helped her dress and brought her meals, stepped inside, her face cheerful as usual. "Finished your breakfast, I see?" "Yes, thank you." Jane nodded toward the arranged flowers, spring blooms from her own garden combined with a few purchased from the greenhouse. "And would you mind taking these back with you? This one for the entry hall, and that one for the front desk." "Happily. They're beautiful. You ought to come over and see how they brighten the old place." "Just set them in their usual places, if you please. I'd only be underfoot." "Not at all. You're the landlady now, and more than welcome." "Another time, perhaps." Jane had offered to help with the inn early in their marriage, but John insisted her place was here, in the small, separate house he'd built for them. After all, gentlewomen did not work. After a few attempts, Jane stopped offering, and soon other concerns occupied her mind.